Hi everyone, it's Norma and Randy, and we are driving down the east coast of Taiwan. We were a little surprised when we were driving between Suao and Hualien at how many tunnels there were, but I imagine it's because of the ferocity of the typhoons and they like to protect their roads that way. But it's a very easy and accessible drive. There's really only one way you can go. It's a wonderful road, really well maintained. It's very interesting to listen to our first impressions of driving in Taiwan, all jet lagged and everything.
You know, the thing that if you're going to drive, as we did, drove from Taipei down here, I mean, it's different. It takes a while to really get used to the traffic and the signs, but, you know, the drivers are pretty good here. They really are. And you know, you've got to expect to have scooters go past you. Intersections where you keep your eyes open. You just got to go for the unexpected, but everybody gets around, no road rage, and a little hard on the parking sometimes.
Yeah, well, it was easier than I thought it was going to be. Of course, I'm not the one driving.
Yeah.
And of course, we're here in Suao and the roads are tiny and there's no sidewalks, and you're jigging in and out of the cars and the traffic and the people and the scooters, but you don't have to drive fast.
I covered our stay in Hualien in two other videos, one for Taroko Gorge and one for our evening in Hualien. And as we say goodbye to Hualien, we're going to be heading a little more down the coast.
And I'm going to zoom back out and I'm going to pan around here. Now, this is just bloody amazing. Now there's actually a signpost, sorry. Oh, look at this. We just stumbled onto this just by total accident. We saw a sign and we were curious, which is how we do this, and there you go.
So what caught our eye was the Far Glory Hotel, which is this fabulous resort, and we also looked at the Far Glory Ocean Park. Now, it is winter in Taiwan in February, so not a lot of people around, but made for a good view.
Well, I don't know if you can hear me over the crash of the waves, but we're at the Jisu Recreational Beach, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Lots of signs, of course. Don't swim, don't climb over the rail. So here we are by the rail, looking at the ocean.
We're coming down the coast, as you probably know previously, and it's just a magnificent journey. Up you go, down you go, from one little town to another. You know, they got all these beautiful little viewpoints, snacks you can buy and trinkets and that. Everybody's friendly, except for the girl that was talking to me about the wrong washroom I went into, but you know, that's forgivable.
Oh, it is February and the weather isn't spectacular, but it's not getting in our way. It's certainly not bad enough to interfere with our fun. Here's a picture of the sign of the next place we went. I'm having a hard time saying the name, so I thought that would be more helpful. And here's my question. I straightened this horizon in my editing program, and yet when I put it in iMovie, it went back to the original. What is that all about?
Hello. You give it perspective, I tell you.
So our next stop was Shitty Harbor. Yes, it kind of sounds like Shitty Harbor, but it was a place we'd stopped at before and couldn't wait to go back to have another look. It's a very well protected harbor, and that gives you kind of an idea of what it must be like in the typhoon season. We were up on the wall and had a sneak peek out at the ocean there. The seafood restaurant is spectacular and is a must-go, that's for sure. This is one of our favorite things, again, to find these little gems. This is a church in one of the little small towns that we stopped in. It just caught our eye and we had to stop and have a look at that. So that's an example of some of the things that we saw on our drive. Here is a cemetery with rice fields in front of it. And I have to say it wasn't all completely stress-free this drive because we stopped at the Bashai Caves, had to pay money for parking, and then we couldn't get into the cave, which we got into last time, so that was a bit of a disappointment. And the other thing was that our GPS did not speak English. You could type a phone number into it, but for some reason it couldn't find our hotel, and we had to rely on seeing it ourselves, which we did right away. It wasn't a problem.
It's challenging because you get tired. You only have so much energy when you get older, and it really everything becomes a little harder to do. Although the people are really friendly, and so. Looking back, it's delightful in the moment. You just want to kill somebody.
Usually me.
Yeah. Well, hey, everyone you love.
But one of the things that we find is we're either tired or hungry. So after a little rest, we decided to head into Chiangong to sort ourselves out. And we ran across this religious celebration. Every time you ask anybody about this, they always say, "Oh, it's some god's birthday," but it's always accompanied by quantities of firecrackers. You can see them all over the ground, and these fellows were reenacting a story. And here's another picture of the boxes of firecrackers that were lighting off, and they were exploding all around us. And of course the cleanup as well had to happen, and it happened quite quickly. Our next day we drove straight down to Kending to meet up with the family. That night we went into Hengcheng for the night market. There is a night market in Kending, but it's more touristy, and the one in Hengcheng is more local. So we came across some things we wouldn't find in a regular market. Look at this bakery. It was delicious. The next day was our beach day in Kending, but it was raining quite hard, so we went for a drive instead, went up into the hills, into the national park, had a look at some of the ocean views while we were there.
And then the sun came out as it always does. We had one look at the beach and then had to say goodbye to Kending as we were heading over to Kaohsiung. That's all for now. See you again.